We're back with another episode of Daily Dose Septuagint Edition, and today we're turning our attention to Daniel 7, verse 13, one of my favorite passages in the Greek Old Testament. Let's take a look. We're going to be looking at the Old Greek version. Let's read it. Theoun in horamati tes nuktas, kai idu epiton nephelon to uranu, hos huias anthropu erchato, kai hos palaios hemeron parain, kai hoi parestekates paresen alto. Let's begin with the first line here. Theorun there is from theoreto. This is an imperfect first singular. So this is Daniel saying something like, I was seeing or I was observing. And then horamati there is from horama. That's a vision. It's a vision of night. So this is, I was seeing in a vision of the night, or the night vision, something like that. Kai idu, and behold. Epitone nephelon, that's the word for cloud, nephele, to uranu. So upon the clouds of heaven. But what's interesting is that when the New Testament cites this, as it does numerous times, sometimes they will use epi, sometimes meta, and sometimes in, which may reflect some of the translational differences that you see even in the ancient tradition of Greek Daniel. It was a bit of a moving target, had multiple editions running around. And so that prepositional phrase is not always rendered the same way. And it could be that the gospel writers in particular had access to different forms than what we see on the screen here. Then, quite famously, we have hos huios, so as a son, and then anthropo, of man, and then erchata there, came. So something like one as a son of man came. And that hos huios there reflects very accurately the underlying Aramaic, which is kabar, so one like a son, same kind of idea. It's not yet a title, if you will. It becomes articularized, if you will, in the New Testament. And also, what's interesting is that that verb for to come is sometimes rendered as a participle in some of the New Testament quotations, as opposed to the aorist middle indicative here. Now, what does he do? Kaihos palaios hemeron parain. We'll start with the verb there. Parain is the imperfect active third singular for paremi, which is to be present. So this one, like a son of man, is present with, or in the presence of, the Ancient of Days. Palaios hemeron. Palaios means ancient. However, you'll notice that virtually every Greek manuscript of Old Greek Daniel has hos. He was as the Ancient of Days. The Aramaic says he goes to or towards or in the direction of the Ancient of Days. So some of the editors of the Greek Old Testament change hos to heos, which would more accurately represent that preposition. But all the manuscripts have pretty much have hos palaios. In other words, this Son of Man comes as the Ancient of Days, according to this Greek rendering. One of the interesting things about that is if you look at Revelation 1, where this passage is alluded to, we actually have Jesus as the Son of Man taking on the attributes of the Ancient of Days that we find out about elsewhere in Daniel 7, such as his flaming appearance and bright whiteness and so forth. So it could be that this translation option here of the Old Greek, where the Son of Man's identity is somewhat, in a way that's hard to articulate, fused, if you will, with that of the Ancient of Days, could have sparked John, when he's writing Revelation, to make that connection as well. Then lastly, kai hoi parestekates, paresen auto. Parestekates, there's a substantival participle from parestemi, those who are standing by. This is the heavenly retinue of angels that have already been introduced in Daniel 7. They are also present with him in the heavenly court. And the Ancient of Days, of course, gives a throne to the Son of Man, gives him the inheritance of a kingdom that lasts forever on behalf of the saints, and so on. So Daniel 7 as a whole is remarkably significant. And this particular verse, of course, shapes the use of Son of Man language over 80 times in the Gospels to all sorts of very interesting effects. So that is Daniel 7, verse 13.